like I look a little crazy today. Forgive. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I've been listening to, so I recently got into, keep in mind, I'm always like 10 steps behind. So if something is like super cool and interesting, more than likely I will find out about it and like fall in love with it, like, you know, a good time after. Anyway, so I've been listening to the Jenna and Julian podcast, Jenna Marbles, and I'm listening to an episode on YouTube networks, and it's so interesting to listen to it and to kind of hear. And I've been approached by a YouTube network, which is comical, which is funny. I'm listening to their podcast, and like I listen, and I watched like a few YouTube videos after I got contacted by this network. I watched a few YouTube videos, you know, that people had made about YouTube networks, etc., and to me it all screams and is all very reminiscent of like what's sort of the scummier parts of the entertainment business in general. So growing up, I grew up as a dancer and an actress, and for me, like the big story was always, and just like the biggest piece of advice we were always given by teachers or choreographers at conventions and workshops and stuff, the biggest advice we were given was you should never be paying anyone unless they get work for you, unless they are getting you a job. And I think it's so funny. It's so it reminds me so much of what's going on now with like the birth and sort of the takeover of these YouTube networks, with all these channels. It's very similar. Sorry, my hair is like really bothering me. It's very similar to that, because I feel like there was a period of time in the entertainment business and the entertainment industry when there were a lot of like scummy agencies and scummy managers who would say like, hey, we'll sign you to our agency and we promise you like commercials and Disney and whatever, but in actuality they're just taking your money. If you pay us $200, then we'll make sure that you get auditions or something, like, and that type of stuff still exists. It's still a thing now. But I remember it as a kid, and I remember that being like sort of the scary thing, was like, how do you know which are the real agencies and which aren't? And I had actually had an instance. I was so young. I must have been like maybe 12 or 13. Somehow I got in contact with an agency, and this agency was like, oh, okay, we like you, why don't you come in? And I did a little audition piece. My mom was there, and my mom didn't really know. She definitely wasn't like a dance mom or anything. She was very supportive and always brought me to things, but it was never like, she didn't understand the business as much as a lot of people don't. It's very intimidating. It's a lot. And so this agent, and it's funny too, because sometimes it's not pay us directly. It's, okay, we'll sign you to this agency, but we really think you need new headshots, or we really think you need to take X, Y, and Z classes. So, you'll sign with us, and then you'll pay this teacher, you'll pay this photographer that we work with. And that's wrong too, because, those things should be very separate. They're not affiliated. It's not like one goes with the other. Yes, some agencies might recommend some photographers, but it should never be like, we're an agency, we only work with this photographer and that's it, and you have to pay to get headshots and then we will put you out on auditions. Like, that's bogus. And I feel like that's just a good tip for anybody. If, like, you're looking to get into the entertainment industry, or you're looking for agents, you should never ever be paying an agency. You shouldn't. To join their agency, they didn't do anything for you. Their job is to work for you. That's what's supposed to drive them, to get you the great jobs, the great commercials, the great movies, so that they can then take a commission on that money that you made. That's sort of the partnership, that synergistic partnership. Now, it's crazy that, these YouTube networks are very similar in that, not that you're paying to be part of them, but they've sort of built up these reputations of being like these prestigious networks of of YouTubers, and like we promise to, you know, give you this platform and maybe put you in contact with the, you know, these advertisers or whatever, and then we'll take a cut from you. The crazier thing though with the YouTube networks, and this isn't all of them, but you know, you have to do your research, you have to, is that like some of them will, you know, most take a huge cut. Now, you know, agents tend to take 10 to 15%, most agents, but these YouTube networks are taking like 30 or 40%, and they sign you on like 3 to 5 year contracts, and they're always taking a cut. So regardless of whether or not they actually help you, they are still taking money from you, which is kind of insane, because no agent would ever, like a contract with an agency, with like a talent agency, if you were an actor, might say like, okay, you're signed with us, any work that you get, we get commission off of. So, you know, any job, and there might be a little clause in there, or a little, you know, side note that's like, you could potentially put in your contract that like, if I go out and I find those auditions myself, then you don't get a cut of it. But most agencies, like, even if you get that, even if you find that audition and you go and you book it, most agencies still will like want to take a cut, or it'll be in the contract that they are allowed to. But I mean, if you're not working, they're not taking money from you. You know, if like you're not bringing anything in from that area, like they're not going to take that from you. So to think that like, and you know, it's crazy to think that like they could help you, they could not help you at all. Sorry, I'm like having a hard time getting my words out, but like they could not do anything for you, and yet still like they get sort of like a pretty large chunk of your money. And I mean, I get the pull toward wanting to join a network, because even when I got the email, I was like, oh wow, like someone reached out to me for a split second, and then I kind of like, you know, used my 2 cents and was like, wait a minute, like there's no way, and even like, and then do your research, look at the contract, read it over, have someone else read it over, because sometimes if, you know, your own judgment can cloud things over. Like if I really want something and I'm reading the contract, I'm only going to see the really positive things about that contract. I might gloss over the more like, not negative, but the more binding things, you know? And also like to be in a contract with someone for more than a year, that's a lot. And like even, you know, big talent agencies, like every year there'll be a renewal process or a renewal period where, you know, each party will sit down together and then determine whether or not the, you know, relationship is working from a business standpoint. But to think that like that could be completely ignored and, you know, your contract just lasts for 5 years or something, that's insane. So definitely have someone read the contract. I would say like, I mean, have a lawyer read it. And I know that sounds like, ugh, but I don't want to. I just want to join this network and get famous. But I mean, I would never, if I could say anything to my younger self, and luckily I was never in this position, but never just sign something, and especially when it has to do with money, especially like, you know, it's such a different world we live in now. It's such a different world. And to think that like 13, 14, 15-year-olds can be making all, you know, I'm not going to say all this money, but could be making a substantial amount of money for that age. Maybe they're pulling in $1,000 a month. Oh my gosh, like you're not going to be making that like working at the movie theater. You're not going to be making that working at Starbucks. I guess it's just like, it's sad to think like that maybe those companies, and I'm not saying that this is true, but maybe that these companies exist to like, in a way, take advantage of the situation online, it being such sort of like, you know, a free-for-all. It's still so new that like, wow, we can create these networks that sign kids and like make the network look really splashy and really fantastic. And you know, what's a 14-year-old gonna know the difference? Is a 14-year-old who's like making beauty tutorials in her bedroom after school, she's gonna feel flattered. She's gonna feel flattered that someone emailed her. So I don't know. I've heard just a lot of talk lately about YouTube networks and watched a few videos, and it's such a recycled scheme, or such a recycled, I don't want to say scam because that sounds so bad, but it's been here. It's always been here. It's that idea of, people trying to make money off of you and trying to, like, get as much from you as they can with doing as little work. And I mean, I'm sure, like, being part of some networks works for some people, and networks are not the same, I should say. Networks are not the same as managers or, like, management companies. So that's why I say, like, get a lawyer, get, like, have someone else look at it, whether it's, a parent or a spouse or something, because management companies are a little more like agencies in that they should, again, you shouldn't be paying them. Like, you shouldn't just be paying them like a flat fee. You shouldn't be paying them like a percentage of your earnings. Like, they should be working for you. That's what they're doing, essentially. And then sort of like, money is based on that. How much are they working for you? What opportunities are they bringing to you? What is your management company? Is your management company sort of like management / talent agency, and that, like, they will create and get opportunities for you for YouTube, but also for things outside of YouTube, so that you could be making, more money outside of YouTube? It's just, I mean, it's very complicated, and it's a lot. So I don't know. I felt like I needed to put my 2 cents in, not because, like, I have such, like, amazing advice or anything, but I don't know, if it helps, like, one person, it helps one person, like, not sign all their money away, or, like, their, the potential for money, because I think that's the other thing too. Like, if they contact smaller YouTubers, then they're locked in at a certain percentage, and that is not based on, that doesn't change. So it's not like, oh, I get more subscribers, that means you get less cut. No, they're still going to be collecting 30%. So you might be making no money now, but then what if next month, all of a sudden you get a check from AdSense for $1,000? Oh my goodness, like, that's heartbreaking not to, like, get every single penny from that because you work so hard. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, like, what you know about YouTube networks, if you have experience with them, or an agency or a management company. I've never worked with an agency. My husband is part of one, though. I've been around enough agencies, like talent agencies and stuff, to get the gist. And you know what? If you find an agency, if you find a management company who really does, like, is legitimate and, like, wants to work with, that's the best feeling in the world. It's the best feeling, is to, like, have a company and have a business that's, like, wants to stand behind you and your brand, and wants to grow your brand, and, wants to find opportunities for you. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Like, that's something to be celebrated. That's something you should feel so, so, so good about. But I guess my thing is, like, just be aware that that's not what like these run-of-the-mill networks are. And you got to you have to do your research. You have to have people, on your side who are going to help you with, big decisions. Because you want to keep your money. You work so hard for it. All right, guys. I'm going to go now. This was a lovely chat. Also, I have a giveaway happening on my channel right now. So go watch that video. I'll link it down below. And enter the giveaway. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is be subscribed to my channel, and then on that video leave a comment with just kind of telling me what your favorite season is, like fall or winter. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you later. Bye.